DC Nation issue 0. Got 3 stories in here. The first one by Tom King and Clayman. Of course, this is the one that's tying into Batman. And the concept of this is that Joker has found out about Batman and Catwoman's wedding, and he has taken over some random guy's house, thinking that he is going to get an invitation through the mail at this house. So he's holding this poor man hostage as he waits for the mail, and the man is worried that he's going to be killed. All while telling some glorious dad jokes with some fantastic, I'll call it eye-popping art from Clayman. After he makes the jokes.
Creepy Joker.
His Joker is pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
It is. I never learned the alphabet. I don't know why. That cracked me up.
All I could think of was Phil Dunphy from Modern Family.
Yeah.
The one that got me is, did you hear the one about the letter that didn't have a stamp? You wouldn't get it. It's his face afterwards where he just stares, going, come on, laugh.
You know what?
Yeah.
So here's my thing on this one. This was a really good story, and it was super tense, and I liked that.
And the ending is dark as shit. Joker just kills him.
Yeah, because that's what he does when he's happy.
We're in proper evil psychotic Joker territory.
Yeah.
My favourite kind of Joker, might I add.
So here's what I'm confused about. So how did people know about Batman and Catwoman? That, I get the Justice League, right?
Yeah.
Knowing. But as of this point, it would just be Bruce and Selina getting married.
Yes, well,
right?
I'm assuming, because this is going to be continued in Batman 48, and that's going to be like more of this stuff leading up to the wedding. I assume we'll get maybe some information as to why anyone knows Batman is getting married. I assume that's something that's going to be brought up.
Ivy knows, right?
No,
from that arc, would she not know?
I can't remember if it got brought up to her.
that arc was all kind of a fever dream. And I think that's the design of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I assume we'll get some sort of this is how word gets out to the rogue gallery of Gotham that Batman is getting hitched.
Yeah.
Somehow that'll come out.
If they don't do that though, I kind of like that it's Joker caring more about Batman than who Batman is. So however he interprets it, or whatever. But I like that twist because it wasn't until after I read it that I started going, wait a minute. He's a Batman and Catwoman, not Bruce and Selina.
Yeah.
So...
And he shouldn't know who Bruce and Selina are because he doesn't know their identities, so that makes sense.
Exactly. So that's why
as far as we know.
As far as we know, yes.
In the moment, I was just like, oh yeah, I know, this story is rightfully creepy. But the more I thought about it, going, that's an interesting wrinkle. So, and I trust in King. King's earned my trust in, not like, oh, well, that was sloppy, because I've read some people say that, this was just kind of a necessary tease.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is a tease that's standalone. I don't think it has to be explained how he knows yet. I assume we'll get that somehow. When we hit 48 and 49, and we get that 2-part story before the wedding. I think
this is a really tight, short story of just, this is a day in the Joker, for the life of the Joker. Just, okay, here's one morning, what the Joker did. Yeah,
and you hear the guy talking about his daughter, and at the end, he says, "Oh, I got the invitation." Then he shoots him, and then you see the last panel. You see the letter. It's actually just it's a letter from her school, the daughter's school, about her being late. And it's okay.
Yeah, because you kind of his whole thing is the guy's going, why would he send an invitation here? Why today? And he's like, well, I mean, he's got to send one somewhere, sometime. Why not here? Why not today? Yeah. And then when something comes through, it's like, wait, really? What's going on?
Even the guy's like, oh, weird. Because it looks like an official stamp, there's a seal on the letter. And I also like that the guy does try to defend himself from Joker and gets his gun, but it ends up being one of his
bang guns.
Yeah, his flag.
His Joker.
And you're just like, oh, no.
Yeah. It was a real good effort, though.
Yeah, it was good effort. And at one point, he just kind of snaps. He's like, Batman's not getting married, and even if he was, he wouldn't send you an invite, and he certainly wouldn't send it here. There's so much wrong with your plan.
I love that. After he does that, that's when you get the the alphabet joke, and the guy just screams and walks off. He's like, no, I can't take this.
King's Joker, from even in War Jokes and Riddles, we had his introduction in that house. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a David Fincher villain. You know, like he's all atmosphere and just he gives me the creeps.
Yeah, no, I love this first story. I think it's nailing the type of crazy Joker I like. It's exciting because it's building to the when, it's building to Joker's interaction with it in some way. And I am curious as to how much, like, because obviously issue 50 is a big issue. In fact, we heard this week that there's going to be 21 artists on the book. You know, I know. It's 50 pages, and King said, yeah, there's 21 artists. I'm assuming it's one main artist, and then there'll be like 20 like standalone pages that are flashbacks or something. I assume it'll be like one of them's making a speech, or maybe both of them make a speech at the wedding, and as they're doing their speech, you'll get like all these splash pages of their history from different artists. I'm assuming that's what's
kind of like that issue that we just had where they went through their relationship, and you saw the different eras.
Kinda, yeah.
And that was
I'm
different artists,
kind of like in the in Action 1000, the Gleason thing.
Yeah, like that, but every page is a different artist, basically.
Instead of just
when someone asked him about that, he goes, "Yeah, I'm kind of crazy." That was King's kind of response. Was like, "There's no reason for this other than why not." So man, he's really climbing those ranks.
Oh yeah,
as a fan favorite.
I mean, this is already a huge run. We're hitting issue 50, and he's claiming he's got 100 in him. He's like, I'm going to 100. This is halfway.
And that's good. And so now it's drawing comparisons because the issue number's about where Snyder was. So the content's there. And I put this over Snyder's run because while Snyder had some really cool ups, this has been more consistent. There's only one arc of here I don't like actively. The rest of it, I think, is an all-timer. But compared to Snyder's, where I feel like it's way more hit and miss.
Yeah, I think I might like the Black Mirror, which is not even really part of Snyder's run, because that's like, that's Dick Grayson Batman. That's like a different character. I think I like Black Mirror maybe more than any of the individual stories in King's run, but as a run compared to his New 52 run, I do think I like King's run more, and I'm still excited about the rest of it. So
Yep.
I think I'm torn because I think this run's definitely more consistent, barring a couple of points where I actively dislike. But I think I like the ideas that are at play in the Snyder's run more, like just the concepts that it's dealing with. I think I like those.
I'd maybe agree until those last like 12 issues with the robot Batman thing. Well,
even that, I like the concept. I like the idea of what he's poking at. I like what I'm not saying it's as well executed, but I like the concept.
Snyder's a really good idea, man. I just feel like not that he got tired of it, but he just kind of ran out of steam there towards the end.
Honestly, I actually think he's better suited to Justice League because he's doing these big, crazy, ridiculous ideas. I think that actually works better when it's the entire Justice League and not just Batman.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that. I'll save that. We'll
get the other bit. So are we wrapped up on the Batman story then?
No, we're good. Art was great.
Art's fantastic. Yeah, man, killing it.
Man and George Ballard are a great team, and I think it shows the contrast of just a couple of weeks ago we got their story in the Action 1000, all the bright, gorgeous colors, and then it's so bleak and just
so different.
Ordinary.
I want to see how King's gonna mess up something in this one, like he drew the face on the Elmer Fudd. Like he's gonna find a way to do something goofy.
Actually, that was the best response on Twitter when he said there was 21 artists. Someone said, "Is one of them you?" Get to the last page as a stick figure saying, "I love you, Selena."
Oh my god.
I kind of want that to be there just for the joke.
I'll be honest, I think there's a market for like a joke book where he redoes an issue of his own run, but him just doing stick figures for all the panels.
I'd read the hell out of that.
Just for once. I mean, you couldn't read a whole arc like that, but I'd read one joke issue like that.
Yeah.
Just the one issue of him going into Santa Prisca. So the one issue...
I want his own interpretation of Batman 50. The full thing.
Just all 50 pages of
Tom
it.
King edition.
Good Lord. You're a masochist.
Oh dear.
I just want to see how he differentiates between all the other guests.
Also, can I point out, he said that was 50 pages, which for $5 is actually pretty reasonable.
It's reasonable, yeah.
Think about what normally costs 3 or 4. That's pretty good.
Hey.
Anyway, so the next story in this then, we have the Bendis Superman story with Jose Luis Garcia Lopez on the art, And this, of course, and Joe, I liked about this in comparison to the other one in Action 1000. I felt like the Action 1000 one was like, here's kind of what Superman's going to be like, and this one is more like, here's what Action Comics is going to be like, because this is the Daily Planet stuff. So I like I like that he specifically picked the different element to showcase here. You know, regardless of what you feel about the story is and how the dialogue is and so on, I think you can appreciate that he's picked a different element of Superman's world.
That's what he did with X-Men. Uncanny was Scott Summers' team, and then All New was the Time to Space team. So while they're both X-Men books, each of them had their own point of view. And if, this is a taste of what we're getting, then awesome.
Now, of course, everyone's waiting with bated breath to hear how much Connor hated it, but more on that in a second. I think what I will say positively, before anything else, is that I think Bendis was born to write Perry White. I think Perry's... I said this to Matt the other day, but I could almost hear Lane Smith from Lois and Clark just saying the dialogue.
So I woke up, and this was the first thing I read. Like, I skipped past...
Of course you did.
The story. Yeah, it's on Superman. It's like, so... And as I'm sitting there in the morning eating my oatmeal, I'm just going, no, he needs to say Great Ghost of Elvis. Like, that's all I need.
Great Shades of Elvis, I believe.
Great Shades of Elvis, that's right. It's Great Ghost of Caesar in the Silver Age. So, but yeah, just him, it was perfect. The voices.
Because there's a moment where, because Clark comes back out of Daily Planet, he's like, oh, I was researching this, and he says like a bunch of things about extortion and whatnot, and Perry just leans in and goes, oh, all those words sound really sexy, Clark, give it to me, come on. He's being the newspaper man, and that was like, and he's given like a speech almost for like 3 pages, just Perry talking to the newsroom, talking to Clark, about everything, and it just all that was flowing really well.
It feels throwback, but also modern in that weird way, because the newspaper industry isn't the same as it was, but deep down in its DNA, it still is. So like,
well, I like that because there's a new character, Good, who actually says it's like he comes to work every day from 1945. That was a fun little joke. It's like, he's old school. Yeah.
So I like that because there's always a thing of Clark and Lois working at the Daily Planet, to where it's like, well, newspapers really aren't a thing anymore, but Metropolis is one of the top, cities in America. It would still have a major newspaper. So I like that they go, we're like the last bastion of free press. That was kind of Perry's thing. So, and he even name drops the Gotham Gazette, which, it just sets a tone in a connected world.
Yeah, and then the new person, Good, comes from Star City.
Yeah.
One of their papers. So, they're setting up the mythology of all the newspaper offices and the DCU.
Yeah. It's kind of what I've always wanted, but with sports teams. Like, I always wanted DC to make, like, hats based off of the different, like, a Gotham Knights hat or a Metropolis Meteors, and because it makes it feel like an actual city.
Right. Obviously, I want to tackle the Lois stuff here, right? And I want to do this because I know Connor's about to jump in and say a bunch of things, and I know Matt is terrified and worried and sweating.
I'm not jumping in. I'm very restrained, thank you very much.
Okay, but very quiet so far, actually.
The vein in your forehead's popping out.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't have a vein in my forehead.
I feel like he keeps looking down.
It popped.
He's looking at his issue, just looking for, okay, here's what I'm going to complain about. Here's all the things I'm going to bring up.
I'm just trying to... you're saying all these things, and I'm like rereading it going, I just don't see it. I mean... To me, this is a very there's a lot of it's a lot of dialogue, and to me it doesn't flow. I don't read it that I think it reads that well for me, and that is my core problem with Bendis. It's not his ideas, it's not anything like that. It's just I don't think it flows when I read it.
I feel if you have a problem with the dialogue, you have a problem with Bendis, because I feel like this is very Bendis.
This is to
be fair, he's been very upfront about this.
Yeah, exactly. So why hide it right now? Be like, it's not because I don't like Bendis. Well, the dialogue's very Bendis.
I don't like ideas or anything like that. It's not a concept thing. It's just his writing style doesn't agree with me for whatever reason.
I don't agree with you very much either, to be fair. I like his writing style. But on the Lois stuff, I do feel there's a lot of reacting going on to the Lois stuff in here. And here's my thing. I feel like comic fans, to generalize a little bit as a group, there's always an element of comic fans who overreact to things. Like you see it all the time where a solicit comes out for an issue 1 of an arc, and it'll tease like, oh, something bad's going to happen to someone or something, and everyone starts losing their shit because, oh no, we're losing this. And my thing is always, well, no, let the story play out. And to me, because here he's teasing that Lois isn't there anymore, there's references to Lois not working at the planet anymore, and he asks Clark, hey, what went down there? And Clark's like, no, there's nothing to tell Perry, and he's like, he's trying to get an answer out of him. To me, this is Bendis teasing, like, okay, you're worried, you're wondering where Lois is. I want you to wonder where Lois is. I want you to be worried about Lois because I'm going to do a story about this. This is going to come up in the run. Maybe it'll be in Man of Steel. Maybe it won't get resolved till the end of the first arc of Superman or Action. But to me, this is him teasing this is the reason not to worry about it because he's playing with it.
No, and I'm not worried in as much I have a sense of dread because we don't know. I know that seems like it's the same thing. I trust Bendis is going to pull it off. Like, I understand everything you're saying about he's setting the table. I understand all that. But I have a sense of dread of what he's setting the table for because we don't know anything about John. We don't know anything about Lois. Like, everything's been focused on the Man of Steel mini and then this new villain. We know Supergirl's involved somehow, right?
Yep.
But we haven't seen really any of the other supporting cast. So that makes me feel like with this whole fresh start stuff, like he kind of just has a blank slate to do whatever, and that's what gives me the dread.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people are worrying about that. And don't get me wrong, Bendis is, retcon things at Marvel here or there, and that's why people are concerned. I feel like everyone is jumping to conclusions when really everything he's doing to me says, hey, because he's joking about it on Twitter. Like, there was that thing where Super Son's on the cover, like 2 issues ago, it said, oh, Super Son's going to die, and he joked that, every line of dialogue in Man of Steel is that line. Like, he's playing with it. He knows that people are concerned. So
He's such a troll.
I feel like if he was actually going to just erase the marriage and take away John, it wouldn't be playing this way. I don't feel like it would be.
I don't think he's doing that. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's that extreme. But we keep talking about it's a new status quo. I think there's going to be a focus shift, and we just won't see as much of them, and that's disappointing.
Yeah.
See, I'm not that mad about that. If that's what he wants to do with his run, that's fine. As long as it's still intact and it's still there for other writers to come back to. And
that's like doing a Batman book without Alfred. Like, Lois is kind of Superman's Alfred. That's his confidant.
I don't think he's taking Lois away at all. I think if he's going to focus on the planet, I think Lois is going to be a big fixture of Action Comics. I'm willing to bet you money on that.
I'm less concerned about Lois. I'm more concerned about John because he's a relatively new addition still. It's more not that he's going to be gone. Like, I don't think he's going to be erased from existence. Just more that Bendis doesn't have anything to do with him, so he just kind of sits on the sidelines and isn't really in the books.
Because we know. Well, this is the thing for me. Like, Damien's not been a big deal in the main Batman books for a while. He's been busy doing Super Sons and Teen Titans.
Yeah, but he has a presence, whereas John's only presence right now is in Superman, sometimes in Action, and then.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe that's like opening a door for him to be more present in a couple of other things rather than in Superman itself.
So if I knew that Tomasi has a John book lined up,
I think I
could rest easier.
It's the same thing that you keep saying with Stephanie Brown after Detective ends. I want her somewhere.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
But that's the thing with John. Like, John's not going anywhere. After Super Sons is coming to an end. If he's not in Superman, as we're feeling here, at least it feels like he's not in this run. In the same way that Damien's not in Batman. Well, it's like, okay, so where is he?
Well, that's the thing, though. I just said though. Tomasi's hinted that he's not done with the kids. He's still got something planned with them, so we know there's something coming.
Yeah, but what and when is the question.
I'm not so much that. My other thing was the context clues. The way that Perry was talking to Clark. It didn't sound like he was talking about Lois as his wife, but as a colleague.
To me. No.
This is where we somewhat disagree, because I actually read it as the reason why he's asking Clark what happened is because he would know because he's her husband.
Right.
See, it sounded more of a professional disagreement to me, more like, okay, what happened between you, like, on that last story? What happened? Where's she gone?
And I guess, here's the genius of Bendis, that you can read it both ways, and they're both correct for right now because we have no other context.
Which is just there to drive Matt mad because he doesn't know which one it is.
Yeah. So
Schrodinger's Lois.
Yeah, and so there's also that.
That's quite good.
Schrodinger's reporter. There's also that line where Perry also makes it sound like Lois may not be working for the planet anymore.
Well, if I said she's gone just now.
Yeah, well, but like the way that he says it, there's a finality to it. It's not like, oh, she's taking a break. You know, like, do you want to talk about it? We've kept her out of political prisons and kept her out of trouble. You know, what is she going to do now?
It sounds like she's made her own choice, because he says that she's left to go and do her own thing. You know, that's one of the lines. What was the exact line? It was like, she's off to do her own big something. And it kind of gets cut off. Like the Clark's like thought bubbles kind of overlap it, and you'll get to see what he says. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not worried. She'll be back. And I think she'll be back fairly quickly in Bendis' run, if not by the end of Man of Steel, because...
Well, she's on the covers of Man of Steel, so we'll know for sure. Whatever.
Yeah, to me, this is just setting up, because he's going to pay it off probably relatively quickly.
You're probably right, but there's that what if you're wrong, and then...
I mean, I could be. Like, here's the thing. Even if I am wrong, I'm still not going to feel like I was wrong to not be jumping to the conclusion right now.
Yeah, but... I have a different connection to Lois and Superman, so it's feels a little bit more raw to me. Where I'm just like, I lived through the New 52 where they broke them up for no other reason besides DD01.
Oh sure, I feel like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but you're really taking the bait, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
You know, I'm a wrestling fan. I get worked all the time. You know, like certain things were happening at WrestleMania that didn't happen. You know, so.
Which is fine, because it means you're into the story a lot. But
exactly.
I feel like because he's teasing it is the reason it's not. You don't have to worry, because he's not teasing it just for the sake of, oh yeah, it is exactly what you're worried about, and there's no payoff to it.
Right.
To me, teasing it means there's confidence, because he knows he's going to give you what you really want eventually.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Matt, you did say to me that you thought it was well written and you enjoyed reading it, despite your worries over Lois. So that's good.
Yeah, of course. Like, I'm excited anytime a new writer that's never written Superman. I'm keen to see what they do.
Yeah.
It's bitten me quite a few times, but then again, it also gave us Yang on Superman, which led to New Superman. So, like...
And we should mention this Miss Good, who is a new hire at the planet, but at the end it seems that she's got some agenda of her own to try and take over the company. So we'll see how that goes. But it's fine. We don't get a lot of her to really tell anything from her. It does seem like she's going to be like sticking her nose where it doesn't belong, though, because she almost like walks in and Clark flying off the roof at the end. So
yeah,
she's going to be sticking her nose maybe in places. So be interesting. I
like the art.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yeah.
I can say that as a real positive. The page of Clark flying off the roof.
Yeah.
And, that transition is fantastic.
Also, him down in Costa Rica, settling that, and then Clark was supposed to be down there covering it. I liked all that stuff. That felt classic Superman.
Yeah, all the newspaper room stuff was great. Oh, sorry.
I don't know if I'm going to bother with Man of Steel. Like maybe the first one, but I'm just at a point where I don't know. We've had an issue's worth of Bendis' stuff now, and my hope before was that. Maybe coming over will be, I've had some time divorced from his stuff before, and, maybe, okay, now it's on Superman, I'll care a bit more, I'll enjoy it, it'll fit a bit more naturally to me, and it's just...
I want it for the audio listeners.
Like a bit of a chore.
You heard the thing slamming the desk as soon as Connor said that he wasn't maybe going to read Man of Steel, but Matt's hands both went over his face as he tried to contain himself. I just want to paint that picture for those listening to this.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me overdoing it. That was a real reaction that I just had to restrain myself from yelling.
I don't believe that. I think the thing is, because I can't say it's objectively this is bad. It's just I don't enjoy reading his style, and I don't know how much I have to offer on that. I can't just say that every issue. So that was, I don't enjoy it. It's not that this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. It's just it doesn't work for me.
Anyway, next up, in the same book, of course, we have the No Justice tease. Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV, Joshua Williamson, all involved in the writing, and Jorge Jimenez in the art. I'll tell you the first thing this tease does for me. It makes me very glad that Jimenez is on Justice League coming up, because it's beautiful.
Yeah, art's great. Yeah.
It is absolutely beautiful. The story itself, I thought, was the weakest of the three in the book. Not because it was bad per se, just because it didn't really tell a story. It was just, here's the three teams.
Well, that's it. The others are all...
Four teams, sorry, yeah, four.
They are teases, right? This is just in case you've not been keeping up with the news, these are the teams. Yeah. And a very, very thin narrative of them just being introduced. That's all this is.
I liked it.
I mean, no, I liked everything that was on the pages. It's just like as a story, that wasn't really a story. The only thing that was really exciting in terms of a story was the last 2 pages.
Yeah, the rest of it, I do like seeing that team come together, and you feel the dynamics of each team and why they're, on the team together. So
see, I don't feel like I got that in this issue, because you get like one double-page spread with each of the teams, right? And then it's I don't really see them working together. I'm not getting any interactions from them really. I'm getting a couple of lines here or there.
You're just upset because Zatanna had no dialogue.
No, genuinely, like when I'm reading this, I'm like, I've got no handle on any of the teams yet. I'm like, okay, these are the characters on the teams, but I don't have any feeling for any of them yet. And I'm sure it'll be fine in the main book.
Yeah, it's just thin. It's also kind of a weird thing, because like with the other 2, I can see them both being in the trades. Like, at the start of Man of Steel, you'll get that Bendis story. At the start of the trade with the Joker stuff in it, you'll get that Joker story. I don't know where this fits in the trade for No Justice, because it feels like it's in the middle of the story. So maybe it goes in the middle, but in the middle of the story, if you're reading the trade, are these 8 pages of introducing the teams like this just going to feel weird when you've been reading up until that point? So I don't know.
Here's the difference. The other 2 stories in this felt like, okay, here are some short stories. They're teasers, whatever, but they are stories. This feels like an extended advert. Like, this is just, here's what you're getting. Here's the teams. Here, come and read this. Whereas it's not. There's no story to it.
It's very pretty.
But I agree with all that, but I think that was the mission statement, because there are people that don't keep up week to week with the news. And so if this is meant to be the Free Comic Book Day issue, this is that preview to get you to come back next week,
Literally next week. Literally next week in this case, yeah. Yeah,
exactly. So I'm okay with all of that. Like, I liked what we saw. Those double-page spreads.
Connor sounds a bit more, I don't want to say angry, but he sounds a bit more miffed at it than I do. I think it is the least of a story out of the 3. But it looks pretty, and I'm hyped for it. I'm hyped for it.
I feel like I wasted my time reading it a little bit. I don't feel like I got anything out of it really, except the last 2 pages where it's like, okay, there's a tease for anything. And the rest of it, I'm like, I didn't really need to read. I'm just kind of going, okay, there's a team. Right,
on those last 2 pages, I like those a lot. I like that Green Arrow and Supergirl are kind of holding the fort, like they're protecting Earth while the rest of the teams are off, and Supergirl's being the optimist. And he said, no, the Lee's going to do it, Oliver. Don't worry, like the Lee's going to do this. First of all, because I feel like you've not seen them team up in Rebirth at all. No. Not that there's a lot of classic stories with Green Arrow and Supergirl teaming up that I can think of either. No. But and then the big tease, of course, is these big celestial god-looking assholes are there, and Supergirl's like tiny in the panel, and like these are just hulking over the Earth. So
they're clearly celestials. Like,
I got nothing of what either you 2 just said, because you said it exactly the same time.
Good, Connor, you go first.
I said, they've got a really cool design to them.
Oh yeah.
And I said they're clearly celestials. So from Marvel, like.
Well, we might as well. They're from beyond the source wall. So that's just what's over there. That's actually the Marvel universe. It's just over there.
So now Justice League has to make sure they stay out, because we don't want them invading our universe. Exactly. So keep it guarded is basically the thing. No, I mean I'm hyped for No Justice. So I mean it still worked in that sense, but I mean it was the one that was the least an actual story, because it was just pages of here's the team, here's this team, here's that team.